Hi guys, Ryu here, and let's continue with our sniper rifle. Well, I was thinking that maybe we can start working a bit on the front, so let me just grab the screencast keys before I forget again. And so let's talk about this front part here, shall we? So what I was thinking to do is something really simple, okay? So let's grab a cube, and let's bring it in here, and let's make it smaller. Squish it a bit and drop it somewhere here. Now I'm thinking maybe, let me think. I'm trying to figure out the best place for it, for what I want to do. In fact, let's make it longer and extend it here. This is gonna look cool. Alright, let's make it a little bit wider, just a teensy-weensy bit, right? Cut it here, okay? So Control minus. And in fact, you know what? I do want to actually apply scale, and I do want to bevel this just a little bit, okay? So Shift G, direction, and we have to be careful not to overshoot the bevel, okay? Just be gentle with it. You can hold Shift to make it a bit easier, right? Let's grab these both bits, and the shit is gonna become a mess completely, but that's okay. It's because now see Blender is creating all these lines here, but we're gonna prevent the forest fires by simply running a simple line here, the cut. So C, Z, click, enter, and we got this loop, and all the problems are gone. So now what we need is we need to actually shade this smooth. And once we do that, we need to actually bring it above all these modifiers, and everything should be peachy. How are we looking? Yeah, we're looking pretty good. So now what we're gonna do is, where is this cutter? Grab this cutter, and let's get rid of it because we don't need it. And let's grab this the edge here. So let's grab this one and apply the boolean, and let's grab the edge, this one, okay? And Shift D and P to its own selection, and then grab this edge. It's a bit difficult to select, but make sure you have this edge, yeah? Move it a little bit to the top, so somewhere here in the middle. And let's grab these two local, yeah? It's gonna be a bit easier. Let's make this one, just the edge, a little bit narrower, so SX, scale it just a little bit. And let's actually, move this geometry point back to this edge, because it shares the same position as the main object, right? So Shift S, back to Geo, there we go. Now you can scale it easily, like this. Let's grab verts. This vert we don't need, so we can merge it. Grab these two, and EX, right? Sorry, EY. But we will need to remove this this edge here, so grab this edge and simply delete it. And now we're left with something like this. We can grab these two edges, SX, and move them a little bit closer, Shift, Control B, and split them into 3, not more, okay? So you should be left with something like this. Now let's convert it to a curve from mesh. Open this tab, go to bevel, and simply hold Shift and increase the bevel a little bit, okay? Not too much, just a little bit, maybe to 0.004. That's a little bit too big. 0.35. Yeah, that's better, I think. Yeah, perfect. So now shade it smooth and auto smooth. So you can convert it to geo. So Control A, visual geometry to mesh. And I think we don't need subdivide. Actually, Control 1 to subdivide it once should be enough. We don't have to go crazy on this one. Let's create kind of like a, interesting shape over there. Kind of like a clamp or something. Which is pretty cool. So let's grab this and simply mirror it to the other side. And grab a mirror. And grab this one. And introduce a mirror. And mirror it on Y. And grab this. And simply select this one. And we're done. This one wasn't mirrored for some reason, so let's do it again. We need to mirror it on Y across itself. So are we good? Whoa, hang on a second. Yep, we good. Perfect. Okay, so that will be it. It sets a bit of it adds a bit of interest, which is pretty cool. Now what we're gonna do is grab some screws in here, okay? Because we need some screws. So let's grab a cylinder, and 32 is fine, I guess. I don't know if it's not too much. Yeah, it's okay. 32 is fine. So let's grab this one. Where is it? Let's grab it in here. You can either move it or simply Control G and it will snap. Now let's make it more or less, you know, of this size. So they match, and move it somewhere here and snap it. Don't bring it too close because, you know, screws don't run that close usually, especially in a object that requires a lot of inner strength, like a gun, sort of vibration, kickback, all this explosions, all this stuff. Alt D and X and move it in here. We can do something like this, and then let's actually Alt D and move this one here, because this one is thicker. I forgot about it. So just go Control Z and you're gonna be fine. So grab this one. Did we put actually something in here? Let me see. Oh, we didn't. Okay, perfect. So you know what we actually could? What we could do is we could actually grab this one and Control G here, and to be honest, move this one a little bit deeper, like this, okay? This will make a little bit more sense. And that one is fine, so Alt D and one here, and Alt D, and now snap one more here, and then Alt D and one more in here. Somewhere here. Maybe closer to this corner. Something like this should do. You need to visually spread them in a way that they're not cluttering empty spaces. You know, negative spaces, which means spaces that do not have any detail. Let's go to portraits and I'll explain you negative space. This is the best way I can do it. So this is for example negative space, okay? So that's negative space, okay? It's a space that's important, but it doesn't really directly contribute to the composition. Directly. It's indirect, that's why it's negative, okay? It's just, it's something that exists, and it's really essential to your composition, but you tend to miss it, and you're supposed to miss it, and that's the whole point of it. So if I, for example, dropped details in here, if you zoom out, everything is gonna be detailed. It's gonna look awful, like a, you know, like a parrot, okay? Just too many colors, you know. And you gotta be very careful when you're detailing something that's so busy. We don't want to encroach on areas that are kind of left for the eyes to rest on, okay? So that's negative space, which is exactly why I'm tucking these in corners and I'm leaving all these areas empty and open, just like here, for the eye to breathe, okay? Like here too, you see? This whole place here is gonna be open, right? This is the whole point of it, to leave it alone. So anyway, enough of explaining. Let's grab this one. What is this in here? Oh, there's one more bolt hiding in here. Let's bring it up, shall we? Let's bring it out. So we're gonna remove it, and we're gonna grab this one, because go to orthographic side, because I want the equal depth, you see. That's what I want, right? Okay, so first of all, let's grab this one and sink it in, right? A little bit. And let's go with auto smooth and shade smooth, right? And then we're going to control minus. We can't see anything because we need to work with this boolean a bit, so we need to bring it to the top. It's a bit easier if you collapse all the modifiers, right? Because it's easier to move them. So something like this. But before we apply it, we need to see, right? We need to see what we're looking at here. So GY, and let's move it up. Don't move it too close, because you see what happens. Bevel just overshoot itself because it's just too big. So you have to be deep enough for the bevel to work, but not too deep, okay? So that will do. And now I'm gonna grab all these. There are gonna be screws inside of them anyway, but since we're not using decals, we actually need to do it with geometry. Control J all these, because I want it to be one shape, right? Now we're gonna sink it in. We don't have to shade them anymore because we are copying them through Alt D, remember? And that affects any changes to this mother object will affect all the copies, right? So we don't have to worry about it. So now Control minus and we Gucci, and now we just, all we need to do is grab this shape and move it to the top. We can again collapse the modifiers, so it's going to be a bit easier to work because we don't need this information. So easy to manage it. Easier not to make any mistakes. That's what I would like to say. Right, let's see. It's a bit of a mess really. Let's turn off weighted normals for a sec, and let's bring this to a local space for a teensy weensy bit. I know what's the problem. The problem is a bevel, because we have here a bevel weight added to this mesh. So what we're gonna do actually, right, is we're actually going to, let's apply this, okay? What we're gonna do, we're gonna manually fix this, okay? So first of all, these lines, right, we need to work with this. So let's fix this one first, right? Okay, so let's combine these two, and we can remove these edges, and this is very bad news here, right? So we need to do something like this. Possibly, it's gonna be okay, okay? I'm not too keen on this here, on this edge, to be honest. You know what? Let's not risk it. Let's not risk it. Let's just run it in here. This is a bit, this makes me sweat, okay? And this one is also awful. We need to fix this. So let's run it, you know, let's run it like this. That's fine, okay? Let's just make sure that these are connected. There you go. See what I mean? Boom. Okay, done. Now what we're gonna do, okay, is we're gonna select this face, Shift G, and coplanar. Not gonna work. Fine. Shift G and polygon sides. There you go. But you selected a little bit too many. Deselect this one and make sure nothing else is selected. There we go. And now we cooking with fire. So now what we're gonna do is Control plus to expand the selection. So it's gonna select the face in the middle and the edge. Go to select, loops, boundary loops. And now what we can do is simply mark it with bevel weight, okay? So we're gonna mark it with bevel weight, and that's our bevel. And everything should be peachy after we turn on weighted normals, but it isn't for some reason, which means Blender again removed our bevels, our bevel weight edges. Fine. You know what? I'm done with this, which means we're gonna go angle, okay? And turn weighted normals, and we're done. Because I think we don't really need weighted bevel weights in here, okay? I think we're fine with just regular bevels. And if you're not, we're just gonna do it manually, so I think we're fine. All the angles are fine. Perfect. All right. So this is done, and let's see how we're looking. Okay, let's grab this one and move them to cutters. Yeah, you see, it looks nice. It looks nice. The size is not too big, and it actually adds a bit of interest in a gun. It looks pretty cool. It's nicely spread across the shape. Now, what I want to do is add some screws in here as well. So what we're gonna do is actually grab another cylinder and just Control G this here, make it smaller. And we're gonna make this a little bit smaller than the one on the, actually maybe it could be the same size. So a tiny, maybe teensy weensy bit smaller. So we're gonna put it in here and one here, and you know what? Another one in here, maybe? No, I'm just gonna use one. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move this one here. Okay. So Control G, and I'm gonna make it really small, okay? Here. One here, and on here. So we didn't actually Alt G this, Alt D it, but they're on the same level, you see, because they're two different items, but it's okay. So we can Control J this and simply sink it in, right, a little bit. And in fact, we can sink it in a little bit more, something like this. And then we can simply auto smooth it, shade smooth, and Control minus, and select this cutter and Control minus. And now we need to fix the aftermath. So go back to modifiers, collapse them, move boolean above everything, and everything should be peachy. So this one too above everything, just apply it and apply it. And I'm just gonna clean this manually. So if I have this line here, which is crazy, what I'm gonna simply do is I'm just gonna run a line here, and I'm gonna be fine. So I don't have to worry about this one. And I'm gonna clean this manually. So let's see. Well, this would be actually better here. There we go. And this one as well. This one needs cleanup. So this one actually is a little bit too shallow. You see that? See how it's overshooting the bevel? So watch. G, Y. That's how you fix it. You just move it inside. See? And now it's fixed. So the only thing we have problem with here is these. Okay, so we can just simply fix them like that. So what I would run here ideally would be something like this, which will stretch this whole situation. This one should be perpendicular here to both edges, right? So something like that would be good. There you go. And then we just have to check if everything is peachy in here. So connect these double verts because reasons, and this one should be connected, and we need to see how this looks. Okay, this is okay, this is not okay, and this is not okay. So let's move this one from the corner, from this vert here, remove this edge, and we need to move this face inside. So GY and move it inside until the bevel is fixed, and Bob's your uncle. So now let's grab this cutter and move it to cutters, and we should be fine. So see, now it starts making sense. I like it. I like it. Okay, few more screws, guys. So we need some screws on the main gun too. So Alt M, Shift A, and let's another cylinder. Control G this to this position here. Bring it down. They all should be more or less the same size, really. So you know, let's not go crazy. This one for some reason is not really properly aligned, unless I'm seeing things. Let me see the rotation here. I think this part is a little bit slanted. Let me move it in here. Ah, see, yes, this part is slanting. There you go. See that? This gentle slant in here. So that was just throwing me off, because when I put this Control G this in here, right, it's not really completely straight. You see this shadow on the top? Looks like a crescent moon. But when I put it in here, boom, it fixes itself. So you gotta be careful with this stuff, because you would actually cut something that's not perpendicular to the mesh, which is not ideal. So let's make it, well, that's what I want to do. I wanted to make it smaller. So let's make it smaller, more or less the same size, right? And let's bring it in here. And let's move it outside, because that's what we want, somewhere here. Now let's think where we will put this bolts. I want one probably here, and Shift D, and I want to probably put you know, one in here. So in fact, not Shift D, let's go Alt D and move one in here like this. You know, some maybe a bit closer here. That's what we could do. So GX, move it in here. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And I think that's okay. That's enough. I'm gonna leave it alone in here. Let's say it's underneath this plate, which is kind of cool. So Control J to connect them into one object. Auto smooth and shade smooth, and then simply move them in. And Control minus, and the same dance. So I'll move the boolean to the top, and just apply it. I'll deal with it manually. So let's grab it to the local, and let's see this. Jesus Christ, this is awful. So you know what? I have an idea. Let's just run a, where is it? There we go. Let's run one here. Let's run another here. and let's enjoy our life. So let's bring this one here, GG. Make sure you're gonna go with double G, so you don't move this shape. And the top one. Connect here is gonna be a little bit better. Connect these two, so by the middle, more or less. Okay, this will do. And connect these two. And we can remove these edges. Dissolve. Perfect. Alright, how we're looking. Now let's grab this one and move it to cutters, right? Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Stock, I don't want any screws over there. This one is already screwed. Everything looks perfect.